This will go then to a one-set shootout. Rafael Nadal losing his first set of the week to a fellow Spaniard. And the world number 2 will kick off the decider. Yeah, Ferrer becoming the first man since Roger Federer last year at Roland Garros to take a set on clay off Rafael Nadal. Of course, in all fairness, he hasn't played that many matches on clay, Nadal, since then. But Monte Carlo last week went without dropping a set. And also played in Stuttgart last year, Nadal, on clay after Roland Garros. And went perfect there as well.
Igual.
Too good. Made to win it a couple of times. Oh, the quickness of feet of Ferrer. Well, he broke, of course, in the very first game of the second set. Nadal handing him the first point then when he stopped when the ball was on the line. That's too good, though, from Nadal on serve, and he avoids the disappointment this time around. Holds to lead 1-love. Received a check yesterday, did Nadal here in Barcelona, for some 30,000 euros to go to his foundation, the Rafael Nadal Foundation, something, a charitable trust that he set up in February of this year. Nadal following in Roger Federer's footsteps, of course, who's got many foundations, the Roger Federer Foundation. Nadal's particular aim to promote sport and youth, and really is an integration tool, as he calls it, or it's according certainly to what it says on the tin. But 30,000 euros donated to the Rafael Nadal Foundation as the world number 2 does his bit off the court. His mother's also president of that foundation, so keeping it in the family. Nadal really able to get the forehand roaring there. Chose not to leave Mallorca as well as a youngster. He was asked to go to the mainland in Spain to train Nadal, but the family decided against it, decided that they would finance his tennis himself. You see another forehand roar by Nadal. Yeah, he was some 13 years of age when the Spanish Tennis Federation came calling to his door, asking him to move to the mainland, to Barcelona to train, but the family decision was that he would stay. Partly to continue his education as well, to continue at the school in Manacor where he was based, under the tutelage of his uncles on the court. Yeah, a game of cat and mouse, and it's only just about won by Ferrer. Nadal scurrying to pick up the drop shot. Ferrer choosing to move back and play it as a ground stroke. To keep his cool there. Nadal just upping it on the backhand there a couple of times, just choosing to step up, get on the front foot, rather than just pushing it back in play. Slightly more reminiscent of the first set at that point. Deuce. Well, once again, it wasn't the most secure of overheads from David Ferrer. To be fair, he was forced up the court because Nadal's forehand was fortunate in that it landed very short. Forced Ferrer forwards, but he couldn't make anything of it. Disappointing from Ferrer, because the ball was on the racket. It was a decent attempt at a pass. Nadal did all he could, but that not up to scratch. And an early break point for the world number 2. Just needs the one chance. Major disappointment that for David Ferrer. Having worked so hard to take set number 2. Nadal it is that strikes first in the decider. Could be from one Spaniard to another for Nadal, because he'll head to Rome next week, and the draw has pitted him against either Juan Carlos Ferrer or Nicholas Kiefer in round 1. He's got a bye as the number 2 player in the world, obviously, and a defending champion there. 3-time defending champion, in fact, and he'll play either Kiefer or Ferrero, likely on Wednesday. Made to look incredibly easy, but I can tell you from where he was on the court, it was far from it. You can see it's in the hit zone, but he's probably 4 foot behind the baseline. It's a clean winner. Tough to question Ferrer, maybe not quite enough width, but Nadal at full stretch. Just the sort of point and scenario that he enjoys coming out on top on. Nice change up for Nadal. I think had the idea of moving in behind a couple of the forehands, but such is the respect he has for the defence of Ferrer, decided against the move, and probably quite rightly in the end. The drop shot doing the trick. He's got a chance to move 3-love up, and you feel really put his marker down in this final. Point for 3-love then final set. Third double. It's a big hold for Rafael Nadal. It could prove. Well, he may be the man to beat on clay, but question marks still hang just slightly over Nadal post Wimbledon, and just as to why things don't always happen for him after the grass court season. Defeat to David Ferrer, the man he's playing today, last year's US Open. Quite astonishing defence from Nadal, just grinding Ferrer down. He must have thought he'd hit a winner, in fact would have been a winner against pretty much everyone else out here, apart from Rafael Nadal. Yeah, conditions in New York, just going back to why Nadal doesn't have success post-Wimbledon and why it hasn't always happened for him. A lot of people suggesting the nature of his game just brings an element of fatigue after the sort of grueling 3-4 months of the clay and then the grass. Disappointing. Conditions, of course, as well in New York are very, very quick. It is the quickest surfaces of all the Grand Slams, including Wimbledon, which is something you'd never have said 10, 15 years ago, but the grass has been slowed down as well as the balls and everything else at Wimbledon, and it's helped Nadal and the other baseliners. Conditions in New York that little bit quicker, the slicker the ball does tend to keep that a little bit lower. Whether or not that's a reason for Nadal's struggles there, who knows. Yet another pounding forehand for the world number 5. It's 1:30 in the morning when these two finished their match in New York last year. The third latest finish to a night session in New York in the history. Ferrer's frustration you can hear. Whether he's questioning his decision to move in or not, I don't know, but pressure again, 30-all. Break point for Nadal, but one feels it's almost a match point. And the racket goes from David Ferrer, and his chances may well have just gone as well, because it's 4 straight games at the start of this final set for Nadal, and he's got an iron grip here in Barcelona. Bizarre point. Ferrer pretty much giving up the ghost, moving forwards, not even attempting to cover the line where there was a gaping hole, and he hit it straight back to him, Nadal. Just a second ace.
40-0.
Just a third of the match from either player, in fact. And Nadal is streaking away with this one. 3 chances to move 5-love. And that is a rather dejected-looking backhand volley. A blog. So have a direct attack on the WTA Tour, but Rafa just rolls on, it seems. Sharapova unhappy with what she saw as unfair demands on her time this week, questioning photo shoots and activities outside of tennis that take up too much of her time. Very unhappy she was with the demands being made of her. What's called a shank in the tennis business. Just been worn down, really, in this final set. Not helped at all, has to be said, Ferrer, by losing that opening service game, because Nadal, such a good front runner, and able to express himself, especially when he's leading just that little bit more, as we saw in the first set and yesterday, really, in that win over Gremmeyer. I'm sure, though, Ferrer, for his own pride, keen to avoid a bagel in this final set. However much he's feeling it physically. And that shot suggests he is. So 2 hours and 6 minutes of tennis here in Barcelona on finals day. And it's no surprise, Rafael Nadal with match point. Just the second ace from Ferrer. Oh. Phenomenal backhand from Nadal. Flattening through the ball. Catching the outside of the line. Just taking it out of Ferrer's reach.
Out. Avantaggio Ferrer.
Yeah, full credit to David Ferrer, who does dig himself out of a hole, and he holds on, and he does get his side of the scoreboard moving in this final set. And the crowd trying to lift Ferrer from a near impossible situation. So Nadal serving for yet another clay court title. If he does win here, it'll be his 20th title on clay. 25th overall on all surfaces. Yeah, well played, David Ferrer. Moving in that last backhand, taking it on the rise. See, not allowing Nadal to set. Well, I don't think either player was impressed with that call, but Mohamed Liani will have it's all done electronically now, the let cord line calling, no judge anymore. Too good. Couple of punishing forehands from the king of clay, as he's known, this man. No one in the world can question that title. It's been pushed, Nadal, in this final, but it could be about to come to an end. Match point number 2. Joy for Rafa Nadal. Back-to-back wins on clay this year. 4 times a champion now here in Barcelona. Is there any end to his dominance on this surface? He was pushed by David Ferrer. First time he's lost a set all week. but he is the undisputed world #1 on this surface.